And we are live. What is going on, LBHT crew? The first post-game live stream of 2025. And it ends the way we told you these Harbaugh teams would end. Okay? We didn't think it happened in the first week. Listen. There's no other way than to say this offseason so far has been a failure. Okay. Like, we knew we were going to overreact to week one. That's natural as fans. We're going to overreact to games, win or lose. I was ready at the start of the fourth quarter to come on here and say the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. Okay. We were handling business, even though the defense did pretty much nothing this whole game. The offense was on another level. D-Hop made an amazing catch.
That's not fair to say. The defense made sure to keep Buffalo in it until the fourth.
They absolutely made sure to keep Buffalo in it. They looked just as bad as they did at the beginning of last year. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to hear anything about, oh, it's just week one. The money that you spent on these players, the draft picks that you spent on these players, you cannot give up 41 points to anybody at any time. You want to pretend like you're this great defense and defense, like that's what's going to hold us down. And they killed us this game. I don't care about Derrick Henry fumble. The game should have been, he shouldn't even had to be in the game at that point.
No, and we talked about it before we came on. They're the first team in the history of the NFL to lose when scoring 40 plus points and rushing for 235 plus yards. Teams were 277-0 until tonight. So yeah, it's not on the offense. It's not on Derrick Henry. It is squarely on the defense. And yeah, they look no different, no matter how much talent they get on the defense. We've known for years there's a coaching issue in Baltimore. But that's why we say, and you see it in the chat, that's why we say defund the defense, right? Because no matter how many resources you pour into it, you're not like 2008 coming back. It's just not. The league isn't like that anymore, right? No. You should be able to hold teams to under 41, but you're not going to get back that Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs defense that you're looking for. It does not exist at this point in the NFL. And I want to say too, man, screw John Harbaugh. Screw John Harbaugh, not because he did a bad job tonight, because we know that this is how he coaches. We know he gets a lead and he gets real conservative and all that. But screw John Harbaugh for trying to shift the blame to Lamar Jackson in his post-game comments.
I didn't hear what he said. What did he say?
He said, so this is a tweet from Jeff Drybeck saying, Harbaugh said he did consider going forward on 4th and 3, but he felt like if they got stopped, the Bills would already be in field goal range. Lamar said he was cramping, which is why he didn't push to go for it. Oh, like, there's no need to even like you say, hey, look, I decided to punt. I thought the defense would hold. That's it. That's all. There's no reason to bring up anything else in that scenario. But I mean, I'm just. we were watching it. I was watching the live stream with Yolanda and Hendo. I was in the.
I'm laughing at Dad in his comments. Dad, yeah, that's
but no, I mean, you're listen. They were up 40-25 in the fourth quarter. Late in the fourth quarter.
That should be game over.
And, yeah, it should be game over. Like, they shouldn't have given up 25 points, but the game should be over at that point, right? There shouldn't be any danger of losing that game, regardless of what the offense does. Like, Lamar could snap the ball and hand it to Matt Milano every time they have a possession, and you still shouldn't lose up 15 with 5 minutes to go. Like, it's ridiculous. And like I said earlier in the game, Buffalo couldn't stop Baltimore, right? They finally looked like, hey, this is a complete team. This is the best team in the league. Derrick Henry went for 160 plus yards. Lamar had a great game. You know, Zay Flowers had a career game. He went for it was like 135 and a touchdown. You know, DeAndre Hopkins went out there and made a DeAndre Hopkins catch in the end zone, and then all of a sudden you just stop. Like, we don't need any more points. And that's the thing. There's no such thing as not needing more points. Like, the NBA is the NFL is the NBA now, right? It doesn't matter what your lead is. Your lead is not safe because the other team can get hot and start hitting threes, and your lead is gone. And that's exactly what happened to Baltimore tonight.
Especially when you're a fraud of a defense like the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like they're not a good defense. This defense isn't good at all. How much money did we spend on this team? How much do we hype up these players? Like, Roquan's an all-pro? I couldn't tell. Oh, Malachi Starks is going to transform this secondary? Yeah, he sure did. The opposite way.
He dropped a pick.
Dropped the pick.
So that was cool.
I mean, and that was the first drive. And I said it from there, like, this team has to be different. If we're going to be a special defense, like we were hoping to be, this team has to make those catches. They have to make those picks. That's what's going to separate you from these other teams, right? Because Malachi Starks drops the interception, and then, of course, they score a touchdown. Because why wouldn't they? But the offense did what they needed to do. They put up more than enough points. And like B said before the season started, if the Ravens put up 27 points, they shouldn't be losing any games.
Yeah,
right?
I said 21 because they shouldn't be allowing more than 20 points to anybody.
Well, 21. I'm sorry,
but with the talent they have.
But when we scored 34, I was like, yeah, this game should pretty much be over. Buffalo shouldn't be scoring that against us. But when we scored 40, definitely the game should have been out of hand. I don't care if Derrick Henry fumbled the ball. At what point does this defense, because that's the excuse, right? Oh, well, they put the defense in a tough situation. So what? Are you that type of defense or not? Are you a defense that can get stopped or not? Oh, they're not. Oh, no. We know that.
That was what the third string tight end that caught that ball down at the one.
Yeah.
That wasn't even one of their. I mean, their top two tight ends aren't great, but it wasn't even one of them. And also, by the way, this is why you need more playmakers. This is why you don't have Keaton Mitchell a healthy scratch, because you give the ball to other people. Like, again, you shouldn't be leaning on Derrick Henry in a game where he carried you to 40 points and a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. Why are you asking him to put the game away anyway?
Well,
why isn't Keaton Mitchell in there to where he can make some plays for you as well? Spread the burden around. That's what it looked like initially, early in the game. And I was going to text you that too. Like, I was so happy because this is one of the very few games where I watched Lamar and it doesn't seem like he's doing everything himself, right? Because he throws the ball to Zay, and Zay and listen, kudos to Zay, because Zay apparently has listened to everyone, and he is just running in a straight line now, and he looks deadly. Yes. But he's making plays. DeAndre's making plays. Obviously Derrick Henry's making plays. Lamar makes some plays himself, right? But what is the issue with having more? You don't need Rasheen Ali returning kicks. For what? and you're not going to give him the ball. Why is he there?
Right.
You know that Keaton Mitchell can contribute to the offense, right? So why is he a healthy scratch so that Rasheen Ali can catch the ball, run for 7 yards, and fall down? Tylan Wallace can return kicks. We've seen him do it.
Look, the offense put up 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
They did their thing, but this is 100% a coaching issue, because the defense does have talent, but we're gonna say it right now: Zach Orr isn't ready. You and I like Zach Orr. We have faith that Zach Orr will be a good coach. He's not ready today. No. And we need a coach that's ready right now. Like, we thought, like, he worked through all this stuff last season, and he didn't. Right? Like, I don't care if it's the beginning of the season. I don't care that, the guy, there's miscommunication. That's always the excuse. Oh, it's miscommunication. We got to get some things worked out. You can't give up 41 points ever. No. Like, if your players are special players, it doesn't matter if you're not quite on the same page. Like, you know what to do. You know how to go out there and make stops and have a sense of urgency and you know what I'm saying?
You know who's
Play
not a
up to
special
the
player?
moment.
Keon Coleman is not a special player. Why'd he go 8 for 112 and a touchdown on you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why was the middle of the field wide open all day whenever they needed to gain 7 or 8 yards?
I mean,
Like,
with what 25 seconds left in the first half, they go down the field and get into field goal range with no timeouts.
Yeah,
that's the kind of defense we have.
Tyler Loop did his part too, kicking the ball off the upright. Like, it was a team effort in some ways, but I mean, obviously the lion's share of the blame is on the defense. Don't want to really hear anything else because, again, you have first rounder Marlon Humphrey, first rounder Nate Wiggins, first rounder Kyle Hamilton, first rounder Malachi Starks. You got Chidobe Awuzie, you got first rounder Jair Alexander, you got first rounder Rocon Smith, you got all pro Justin Nnamdi Madubuike. You got first rounder Odafe Owe. You got Kyle Van Noy, who's coming off a double-digit sack season. You got the best nose tackle in the league in Travis Jones.
He did make a stop early on.
Yeah, cool. Did he make a stop later?
Nope.
No, he didn't, did he? Hey, listen, credit to him. I saw him make a tackle 12 yards downfield. I was like, what are you doing there, Travis? But hey, he ran him down. He got in on the tackle. That's cool. But listen, with the talent that they have on the defense, 41 points should not be in their repertoire. Period. Like, they should be able to walk off the field and not give up 41 points in the last 5 minutes.
Listen, man, I just 124 people in here. You guys want to vent? I get it. I was looking at, what's up, Alan? That late turnover just deflated them. The late turnover, to me, that's nothing, Alan. I don't care if he turned the ball over. Like, we score 40 points. The defense at some point needs to do something, right? They need to step up and do something out there. But listen, man, like, me and B have been saying this. Me and B told you guys this last year, right? We're a broken record. We tell y'all how this is gonna go. Okay. We choke in the playoffs. People get mad and say, "Oh, we need, the offensive line didn't hold up. You guys were crapping on Falele all night, right? Rosengarten was getting destroyed out there. The O-line, oh man, the O-line is just getting blown up. O-line. In the offseason, when we say, man, we need to focus on O-line, y'all don't want O-line. You want defense. And when they go defense, you guys are happy about it. Why are you happy about drafting Malachi Starks in the first round? Why are you so happy about that? Why are we getting all pumped about that? But you're pissed that we have to roll out there with Daniel Falele. That's the consequence. That's what happens when you skip on the O-line.
First and second round, mind you, because they took Mike Green in the second round. And then when they finally did take an O-lineman, it was a guy who was hurt and not ready to play, and who was still not ready to play.
Facts. So that's what happens. And like B said, first and second round pick, and these are guys that I think are going to be good players. They didn't show it tonight, but I think they're going to be good. But we need guys that can play right now, right? This is one of the teams that we're going to have to play in the playoffs, and this was a good first game for us to say, hey, you ain't on our level, right? We could have established dominance right then and there, which is what I thought we were going to do, but Harbaugh said no. And looks like we got a donation.
Yes.
You want to read that?
I don't see any note with it. I know that there is because of who the donation is from. I'm going to go ahead and play the video here. Very much to the anonymous donator.
I got it. I got it here. It says, I showed up just in time. Hashtag defund the defense. Yeah. That's from we got two donations. That one. No, that's the right one. That's the one. It's from Hendo's Cruise. Hendo's Cruise.
But it's like I said, deep on the defense. It doesn't mean, hey, don't ever bring in any defensive players, don't ever pay any defensive players. We're very happy that they paid Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton deserves that contract he got. But the point is, you are going to win and lose with Lamar Jackson. The defense is not going to save you. So you need to give the offense everything it needs first, right? And you didn't. You need a couple more guards. You could use more better wide receivers. I mean, Rashad Bateman and look, I don't want to even pile on Rashad Bateman. Like, the offense was rolling. Obviously, they scored 40 points. Rashad Bateman had 2 catches for 10 yards. Outside of Zay Flowers, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the passing game. Lamar only threw for a little over 200 yards.
Yeah.
But that's because you take your foot off the gas because you get 40 points and you think you don't need any more, and you want to get conservative, which is, John Harbaugh's MO. And like I said, I was watching along with Yolanda and Hendo Hendo made the point that John Harbaugh has won 1 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the season that the players said, shut the hell up, John. We're going to do what we want to do. Every year that the players listen to John Harbaugh and do it John Harbaugh's way, you choke in the playoffs in embarrassing fashion.
Well, not only that, right? That Super Bowl win was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
There are people now that watch the Ravens that have no idea that Joe Flacco was a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
because I spoke to a young man about that, diehard Philly fan, but also loves Lamar Jackson, and he's in his 20s, and been watching football for a few years, like really loves the game, and he asked, he's like, oh, like how many Super Bowls do you guys have? I was like, well, we have 2. And I told him the last time we won, I was like, Joe Flacco was the MVP. That was Ray Lewis's last year. And he just started cracking up. He's like, Joe Flacco played for the Ravens? I was like, yeah, man. He was our franchise QB. He was a Super Bowl MVP. He's like, yo, that's crazy. That's how long it's been. So that's not something he can really hold up anymore, right? To save you today. That you can't say he's a Super Bowl winning coach and you don't just let him go. You sure the hell do.
Yeah.
And it's not, look, it's the play calling, because there's some poor play calling. I mean, you're calling reverses, you're calling, jet sweeps, you're calling things that you should not be calling in certain situations. You're trying to get too cute when you just need to either run the ball, or sometimes you need a passing, pick up a few yards. Like, you got to know when to move the chains. And Harbaugh he's always been poor at that.
Yeah.
He's always been poor at that. Bad coaching, bad moves from the GM. And I put EDC in this thumbnail because he's not getting off the hook on this, right? You've made too many bad moves to build this team up. You got guys on this team on the wrong side of the ball, and this is what happens, because nobody's gonna be talking about this defense, man. Right? Let's just be real. Like, we're talking about it right here. They're gonna be talking about that fumble, like Allen brought up. That late fumble is what killed us. No, man, that defense giving up every single big play humanly possible in the game.
Like, there's not a Ravens
fan. They didn't bat down one big pass.
There's not a Ravens fan in existence that didn't know it was going to end this way, in that last 5 minutes, right? Nobody thought that defense was going to get a stop. Nope. Nobody thought they were going to stand up and keep Buffalo out of field goal range, right?
You know why? You know how you know? Because everybody was saying, "Oh, we should have went for it on 4th down."
Yeah. Why?
Why?
You've got the best defense in the league, right? Stop them.
Yeah.
They have no timeouts.
Yeah,
tackle them a couple times. But but to your point, the tweet about them setting that record or being the first team to lose when scoring 40 plus points and having 235 plus rushing yards has a big old picture of Lamar Jackson with it. Why? He didn't lose the game. He's the one who put up the 40 plus points, 35 rushing yards, right? So I don't have a picture of the side that gave up the 40 plus points for the first time ever.
See, that's why when we do these videos, And people always telling themselves, right? It's you know exactly which people are coming in here complaining about the thumbnails I put up. Anytime we lose like this, I always put John Harbaugh front and center. All right. Or John Harbaugh and EDC. And certain people come in here, get mad and say, oh, well, Harbaugh, he can't play the game for them. You know, they gotta go out there and play the game. Well, he's the one putting them in these positions. All right. Appreciate you, Dandy. Yes. Everybody listen to Dandy. Cash App $LBHTShow. All right. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our Streamlabs page. Both ways you can leave your donation, leave a comment, and we'll have Microphone Man do the Park Heights strut for you on the screen, and also the super chat as well.
But this is it right here, right? And I'm not saying that these things didn't contribute to the loss, right? But Aofan says, missed extra point and a Harbaugh 3-and-out play call, normal Ravens recipe for a loss. Shaking my head. How many points did those things add up to? Right? The missed extra point is 1 point.
Yes.
The 3-and-out, that at that point, that was just the last series before they got the field goal, right? So 4 points.
4 points.
The Ravens scored 40 on offense.
Right.
Right. So no, it can't possibly be just those things that led to this loss. That defense gave up 41 points with, again, this looks like a Pro Bowl roster on defense. Like there are no holes on this Ravens defense. I already saw somebody, I think it was on Twitter, complaining about they're still missing that one piece on defense, a dynamic pass rusher. Like, no, you're not. You drafted pass rushers in the first, second, third, fourth. You've gotten them in free agency. I keep hearing Mike Green is supposed to be the superstar. And Kyle Van Noy both had double-digit sacks last year. Matabike had double-digit sacks a couple of years ago. That's why you paid him. No, you're not missing anything. Except, competent coaches and a philosophy that wins in 2025. That's what you're
we all hulked up when they drafted Mike Green, including me. I think Mike Green's going to be a beast, right? But we can't sit here and say we're missing that one piece on defense, because then you're saying, nah, I lied about Mike Green. He's really not that guy, right? That Chuck Pagano hire was supposed to be.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Say. Thank you for the.
But this is exactly what I argued at the draft when everybody was all happy about the Malachi Starks pick and the Mike Green pick, and talking about we needed to force turnovers and things like that. I'm like, Malachi Starks, I think it was like 7 interceptions for his career in college, right? And I'm like, he doesn't seem like that type of player to me, but okay, it's fine. But you can't rely on rookies to come in and be the ones to transform your defense like that, right? In what world was it were Malachi Starks and Mike Green going to come in and say, you know what, we're the leaders now. This is our defense, and we're going to be out here making game-changing plays? Of course, that wasn't going to happen. We got another super chat here.
Great comment.
Donovan Carter. All that money on defense, 0 for 77's replacement. All right, you know what? I appreciate that, Donovan. Thank you very much. I don't think we need to take shots at Daniel Falalele. Daniel Falalele paved the way for 230 plus rushing yards tonight, but but point taken. There were people available to replace Daniel Falalele and Andrew Voorhees if that's what you wanted to do, but Eric DaCosta has shown time and time again that protecting Lamar is and improving the run game is not high up on his list of priorities. It just isn't. He does not care.
All right, we got over 150 people in here. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit the subscribe button. We got some goals we're trying to reach this year. 5,000 subscribers. It is a lofty goal, but we think we can reach it. Spread the word if you're enjoying our content. All right. Share with your friends and loved ones. Also, LBHTShow.com. Sign up for the newsletter. All right. I'm going to put it out. Okay. People were hitting me up this week. Where's the newsletter? Typically when you guys get newsletters in your email, you just send it right to the spam. Well, I don't send it out one week. It's where's the newsletter? All right. I'm going to put it out. Relax. All right. LBHTShow.com. Go ahead and sign up. Showcase says sign Clowney. Clowney ain't going to do nothing here. It's not a talent thing. It's not a talent thing. It's a coaching thing.
Yeah.
Right. They're out of position too much. It's too much miscommunication. Oh, well, we weren't on the same page here. Oh, this person was supposed to be here. That's a coaching thing, man. I'm sorry. I'm rooting for Zach Orr, but you can't be learning on the job when we're trying to win a Super Bowl. All right.
We got another super chat from Jay. Brodny, Panthers or Ravens defense. Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate it. And this is what one of the things, because I didn't want to stream today. Those of you who, if you're new here, I'm a Panthers fan. Jose's a Ravens fan, and I was very high on the Panthers coming into this season. And I was expecting a win today, and they went out and they tripped and fell right on their faces, and they caught a beating from Jacksonville, in all phases of the game. And I was expecting, good-natured ribbing, but I was expecting a chat full of people talking trash about the Carolina Panthers. But guess what? You're just like us now. You're just like us. All right. So Jay, I still have to take the Ravens because of talent, but my God, I mean, we held Jacksonville to 26. So I don't know.
I'm not even mad we lost. This is what we should expect at this point. We shouldn't expect this. I didn't expect this. Absolutely not. I expected the defense to step up. They played better down the stretch last year. You have veterans on this team. B picked Colin Hamilton for defensive MVP.
Yeah. Gomez says, what about the Bills defense? Listen, the Bills defense gave up 40 and won. Don't matter. Like, and this ain't a Bills show. Like, listen, if you want to talk bad about the Bills defense, go try and bring down some Bills fans right now. Go for it. See how that goes. No.
Trust me, the Bills are happy they got that win. They're going to celebrate that. But once the good vibes calm down a little bit, they're going to be talking about how bad that defense is.
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. They won't.
No, because they were booing on that second touchdown from.
They were chanting MVP for Lamar in that stadium.
Those are Ravens fans in there.
I know, but still,
MVP. But
there was a lot of them, and it was loud.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the other thing that came up tonight, and I didn't like the way the announcers framed this. After DeAndre Hopkins scored a touchdown, the guys were walking down. I don't know if it was a quarter break or what. I forget now. But they're walking towards the locker room, and Bills fan reached out and hit DeAndre Hopkins on the head. And then he went to hit Lamar on the head as well, and Lamar pushed him.
Yeah.
And, the announcers were talking about, obviously they're both in the wrong. No, they're not.
No.
They're not both in the wrong. Fans cannot touch the players.
Right.
Listen, I mean, I know that fans will reach out and kind of pat players on on the shoulder or whatever, going by, kind of, if they're fans, trying to cheer them on, things like that, trying to, get a high five or whatever. That's not what was happening here. And Lamar is absolutely in the right for defending himself and his teammate.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I try to turn the volume down on the broadcast for things like that. Because they always say nonsense like that. Don't touch the players. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. And you're lucky that pushed was all you got.
Yeah. Bills D don't matter. The division is trash, and they will win 15 games. Yeah, depending on the schedule. It
is. The Dolphins were unbelievably bad today.
Half the stadium left after that Ravens TD. Yeah. The game should have been over. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and B were talking, we were talking to our guy, Eric L. And I said it then. I said at 34 points, before he even scored that last touchdown, I was like, the game should be over.
Yeah.
If we're the defense that we're hyping ourselves up to be, then the game is over. They just go out there and take care of business, because at that point, you know what they're doing. They're passing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Josh Allen does. You gotta contain him, right? Yeah. Don't give him his run lanes. And they gave him everything that he wants to do out there. They're letting guys that have no business going out there making plays make plays. Guys that have never made plays before make plays. right?
Mhm.
And they just look completely lost. There's no adjustment. You're playing these soft zone. Why are you playing soft zone with the players that we have?
Because what if you get beat like they did repeatedly?
Yeah. Yeah.
mean,
I mean, week one, I mean, look, congratulations to Harbaugh and EDC, man. I didn't think you could have the fan base so sick to their stomach after the first week.
making history right out the gate.
Right
That's
out the
incredible.
gate, man.
Incredible.
Congratulations.
And no, but also kudos to them because listen, Lamar, we always say every year he takes his game to a new level, right? Lamar played a great game tonight.
He did.
No, there wasn't anything to really point at with Lamar, but they still find ways to disappoint the fan base, even with Lamar playing that well.
Yeah.
Even with Lamar being the best football player on the planet, they're like, no, buckle up because this is still going to go bad for you.
Look, the chat's going crazy over here, and also our Discord is going crazy. We're not going to be here for too long because we got jobs in the morning. But if you want to continue this conversation afterwards, sign up to our Discord. There's two ways you can do that. You can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHTShow, only $5, right? And once you sign up, you're signed up. Whether you stay a member or not, we don't kick anybody out unless you do something, get kicked out. Also, we have YouTube memberships enabled. If you sign up for a YouTube membership, there's a Discord invite in there. You can sign up that way as well. Yes. And we got another donation from Donovan Carter. Appreciate you. A super chat says, can we talk about Harbaugh's cowardly coaching? That's a great way to frame it.
We've only been doing it for a decade.
Yeah.
Like this is him forever. He's never going to change. And the fact is that he won a Super Bowl, what he feels like is coaching his way, and you can't tell him anything. And he's got the owner's blessing to run this team however he wants. And he's able to bring in his friends. Like Todd Monken was never the best choice for offensive coordinator. Bring in Dean Pease and Chuck Pagano ain't doing nothing, but like those are his boys. So he's going to bring them in, and when they don't make any difference at all, there's not going to be any consequences for John Harbaugh. He's Teflon over here.
Look, man, like I said, I root for Zach Orr. I wanted him to be the type of coordinator that Mike Macdonald was, but he clearly isn't. And man, I can't see. I mean, they're going to keep him because nobody's going to make him fire him this year. But he shouldn't be the coordinator. Yeah, he should not be the coordinator.
And it's not all on Zach Orr either, because they lost so many experienced coaches when Mike Macdonald left, and then they made Zach Orr the defensive coordinator. They lost all of their top defensive coaches. And they just haven't done a good job of building that staff up around him. A guy who doesn't have any experience does need experienced coaches around him, but not consultants who are there to just chill and cheerlead. Like, what's Chuck Strong doing, man? He's sitting in the office with John, and they're just yucking it up for 8 hours a day.
Should trolling over on Twitch. I'm not sick. I don't look sick. Okay. Disappointed, of course, always disappointed, but me and B aren't surprised at all. The two things that we talked about, that we've been talking about, is one, hashtag defund the defense. Okay, I know if you guys follow any of these Ravens people on Twitter and whatnot, you've heard that hashtag. They probably criticize the hashtag. They probably misrepresent what the hashtag means. Me and B have been saying it since we started the show. Stop putting all your resources in the defense and none into the offense. Okay, the defense should be good enough, and start investing in the offense, especially the O-line. So they did all the things that they shouldn't have done this offseason. Okay, they are ranked last in offensive line salary, 32nd. They don't care. They led you guys to believe that Daniel Faalele and Voorhees were the answers at guard. Now Rosengarten had a pretty good year as a rookie. I get it.
Yeah, no problem with that.
No problem with that.
But the other two didn't play well.
They didn't play well, and also most of y'all didn't want to bring back Ronnie Stanley, right? You thought, oh well, he's not worth the money, but we had no answer. Imagine if we didn't bring back Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah.
Right. And right out the gate, we're complaining about 77. Right out the gate. It's a long season. And people are like, bench him. Bench him for who?
I know 77 is Daniel Fowler. I know he went into that locker room and said, at least I won't have to hear my name this week. At least for once, these fans going to be talking about this defense. No, that's not how you do in Baltimore. The defense can do whatever they want and will never, ever be blamed by the majority of Baltimore Ravens fans. That's just the way it is. And look, and honestly, that's the way it should be, because you should be a offense first organization because you have the quarterback. You should be relying on the offense. You're just not. And they're just kind of almost like giving that impression, right? Like, oh, we got Derrick Henry, we got DeAndre Hopkins, we got all these guys, and then you can say, hey, yeah, he's got all this talent around him. They need to lead us to victory, but you're spending all of the resources on the defensive side of the ball, and then not holding them accountable when they don't do their job.
Yeah. Mixon Buddha says Brodny is right. Every team should remember what Indy did to New England in the playoffs, resulting in Belichick, a real head coach, making them play a full 60 in 2007. That was their motto and led them to 18-0. Well, yeah, letting your foot out the pedal. Especially, I mean, are you watching the game? Like, you see your defense is doing absolutely nothing. Even at 40-25, it didn't quite feel like it was over. It should be over. You're looking at it on paper, and you're like, this game is over. But yeah, you don't let up. You don't get all conservative all of a sudden when they're still fighting. You have a whole quarter left, and you know your defense can absolutely let them back in it. It's not the time to get conservative. You have to be at least aggressive enough to get into field goal range. Play like you still need to score, which is exactly why. That's another reason too why I didn't really want our kicker to be anything special. I didn't want us to sit there and settle on field goals.
And where's the heart? Because this is a team that embarrassed you in the playoffs last year. This is a team that stole Lamar Jackson's third MVP. You didn't want to embarrass them. You didn't want to crush them. You didn't want to send some sort of message to them. Like, even at 40-25, you should be running up and down the sideline saying, yo, let's get 50.
B.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. You know what this is?
Huh. What? Thurman said, what's up?
Yo, that's Steve. That's our guy, Steve. Steve and Thurman from Hawaii. And Philip. What's going on, fellas? That's our childhood friend right there. Hey, thanks for coming through, man.
You're lavish, huh?
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate you coming through, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, what's up, Thurman? What's up, Philip? Yeah, but
they should have been going out there saying, okay, I know you can't get back a playoff win in the regular season, but we're gonna make you feel this one today, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's 40-25. Let's go get 50, right?
Yeah.
But they said it's 40-25. We're probably okay. Let's not rub it in too much, guys. Let's run a jet sweep and have Zay just lay down behind the line of scrimmage. Let's keep that clock running. No, they're soft mentally.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the players. I mean the organization as a whole, and that comes from John Harbaugh. Like, they play that way.
Yeah.
You get a different coach in there, and you'll see a completely dominant Ravens team.
Yeah, Alan says that's why I said the turnover deflated them. Remember how we said in the playoff game last year they should have kept doing what was working and run the ball with Henry. They did that tonight, and they felt. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think that deflated them. Like, I don't think that offense was deflated. I think the play. I think the coaching, what you saw there is play calling. That was flat, right? I don't think the players were checked out by any means. The defense checked out first drive of the game. They were never in it. They didn't have, I think they had maybe 2 good drives where they got stops, but the defense they looked like that all game.
Wait, hold on. Go man says, Rodney, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy for what?
What you mean? Listen, man. Like, read the room. Like, that's the energy in the room. Everybody is fed up with this. Like, all the frustration that you see in the chat is not just because of a meltdown in week 1, right? That is years and years and years of frustration. That's years and years and years of seeing John Harbaugh led Ravens do the same exact thing, and people are just tired of it. Like, first week you're seeing it, and you don't want to deal with it.
He says, how y'all disrespecting us, keep that same energy. Okay, well, first off,
who's
I'm
us?
not disrespecting y'all because it's true. You watched it happen. Second of all, I'm not worried about it. Y'all do this every year. This is who you are. So wait. Keep that same energy for when. Go, man.
Wait, go, man. Who's y'all and who's us? I'm a Ravens fan, right? Like, like disrespecting who? Read the room, bro. Look at the chat. Listen, look at what the Ravens fans are saying. Right?
Come
like,
on, bro.
They are over.
He over here talking like they're gonna show you in February when.
Please do.
Like, you know, I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl each of like the last 4 years. They've embarrassed me every year with that.
See, Alan about to get banned here. Okay, no cussing in the chat, Alan.
Okay, go ahead. I will definitely keep that same energy, but you too, because I've seen it in the chat before. I know it's 100% Baltimore way. When y'all go to the playoffs and y'all get beat by a team that you shouldn't get beat by, I want to see you back in here apologizing.
Go man been watching this for a while, and I appreciate it. But go man, yo, like don't do that. Because you've been watching this for a while. We've been saying the same things for a while, and the same things have been happening. Like, what we're saying isn't a lie. You know that. You know exactly what we're talking about.
Did you watch the game tonight, Go man? Which part of what we said was not true?
Well, what do you think of the game? Tell us your assessment of
man
that.
Was there talking about we had him until the 4th. Yeah, right? I mean, it's 4 quarters.
Like, I see a couple of people are saying, "Oh, it was the missed extra point and it was the fumble." That is, so you don't put anything on defense at all. Like, you don't put any responsibility on the defense. This is how I know you guys don't have faith in this defense, right? When we came up watching a real defense that could win championships, those Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Suggs, Nada type defenses. Even if we won by double digits, all we were talking about is a touchdown or 2 that we gave up. Right? We expected the defense to blow out these teams, to not give up big plays, not give up big runs. And if we did that, we were saying, "Hey, man, that was a bad game."
But again, so I'm gonna read a few things here.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, 14 for 19, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. Rating of 144.4 and a QBR. Now, if y'all don't, QBR is the rating that ESPN came up with that takes the time of the game and the situation into account when grading plays. 94 of QBR. That is unheard of. Like, that's insanely high. It's out of 100. Like, so Lamar, what they're saying was almost flawless, what both of those ratings say.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, 18 carries, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, he had the fumble late. Lamar, 6 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. As a team, they had 29 carries, 238 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That is 8.2 yards per rush. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And they scored 40 points, right? And they had a 15-point lead with 5 minutes to go. Now, I just want the Go Man and the Go Mans of the world to tell me what about what I just said sounds like a loss incoming, right? With the way that offense is playing, with the amount of points that they put up, the amount of time that was left in the game, and playing a team comprised of James Cook, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, and Josh Palmer. What about those things makes you think, man, I don't know. This feels like we're about to give up 16 straight and lose this one.
And you're saying keep that same energy. Why don't you have that energy for John Harbaugh? Right? Like, we're not doing this to you. He's doing this to you. Right? Like, he keeps taking this talent that we have, this Super Bowl caliber team that we have, and just flushing them down the toilet. Okay? We didn't do that tonight. That was John Harbaugh and his staff. That was EDC putting together these teams and lying to y'all about they're doing things the right way and we want the best players and all this stuff. Right player, right price. No, it's not right player, right price. It is right price. That's it. That's all they care about. They just got lucky with Lamar. Ravens should teach Lamar and Henry a lesson and trade them to the Panthers. That'll teach them.
That would teach them. It would teach them. No. I understand what you're saying here, mixing Buddha, but no, this isn't true. He says, I agree generally with everything you guys are saying, except about the draft. I don't think the issue is who they're drafting. I think the issue is that they're not addressing the O-line properly, meaning most of the good O-linemen were taken by the time we drafted. We should have signed Zeitler or Thuney or somebody like we do on D. Yes, they should have signed players in free agency, but Josh Simmons was sitting right there for you.
No, and when we said Josh Simmons on the stream, people didn't like that either, right? They didn't like that. Oh, Josh Simmons, well, he was hurt.
And the problem with saying don't agree about the draft is they don't go out and sign guys in free agency. They don't even really do that on defense. Go out and sign big name guys in free agency. So they typically don't use free agency. They don't. I mean, they trade occasionally, but it's not like all the time they're trading to fill needs. They rely on the draft to fill their needs. So if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to build through the draft, then you have to draft the players that you need. They need O-linemen, then they have to draft O-linemen.
Go, man. You said you love watching that game. You talking about tonight's game? You love that game? So, like, you say we're going to be okay. What's your assessment of the defense? The defense gave up 41 points. There were no pick sixes in that game. There were no fumbles returned for a touchdown. What's your assessment of the defense? You think defense is cool? We give up 41 points like that. We give up 16 points in the fourth quarter. It's no problem.
Ferris is so hurt. I don't know why you expected the Giants to win today, Ferris. But listen, one, you should not have been expecting them to beat Washington. But two, you should be happy because your coach has already not committed to Russell Wilson being the starting quarterback next week. You should be thrilled right now. Like, I'm sitting here having a team who got embarrassed in week 1, and I know Evero is still going to be the defensive coordinator. I know that ain't going nowhere. You have a chance at change next week. You should be happy.
Slim says they always draft best player available. They don't draft needs for real.
No, they don't.
They never draft the best player available. Never draft the best player available.
Here's the thing. Best player available is not a real thing. That's just a thing the teams say. Because you don't know who the best player available is, and they don't know who the best player available is. That's why how can somebody look you in the eye and say, yeah, we draft the best player available, and then 5 minutes later say, yeah, the draft's a crapshoot. How's that possible? How are both of those things true? You don't draft they evaluate the players and they draft who they think is going to be the best. But the problem with that is, one, How do you compare a guy who you rate as, let's just say, a 7.0 out of 10 at edge versus a 7.0 or even a 6.9 at offensive tackle? How are you comparing and contrasting them and deciding who's the better pick for you right there, right? And also, when your team is the Baltimore Ravens and your GM came up with Ozzie Newsome, and you have known nothing but we win through the defense, you're always going to rate the defensive players higher. And again, just to put this to rest, I want one of y'all to tell me that you actually believe Odafe Owe was the best player available when they picked him.
Even though they knew that he needed to develop.
Right. He wasn't.
Right.
They take, they I'm not saying that they're intentionally taking bad players or anything like that, right? But no, they're not taking the best players available. Josh Simmons, again, was sitting right there. He's a franchise left tackle. Left tackle is a more important position than safety. Why didn't you take him?
Yeah.
They prefer drafting defensive players.
Yep. Dan Franklin says best defensive player available. That's the Ravens' philosophy. Yeah. And how's that working out? Jeremy says, even if they beat the Browns, how are you going to trust the Ravens? Don't trust them. We don't trust them. we don't. Danny says, some fans are optimistic. Thank you all for watching. But this is a Ravens podcast. If you want to hear the real and not the fake, Cash App. $ LBHTShow. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that, Danity. Thank you for the Cash Apps tonight. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the subs. Appreciate all y'all. If you're new here, hit that like and subscribe. Help us build. We're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers this year. All right. Also, join our newsletter. It's a dope newsletter. LBHTshow.com is where you can go and sub to it. Also, you can buy some cool merch there. If you like what we're wearing, you like the shirt, you like the beanie that B's wearing, we got that, and we got some more stuff on the way as well. So go over there and check it out.
Another donation through the PayPal there.
Okay.
You can see the message.
Yeah, let me pull it up here. I appreciate the donations here. Yes, we don't have our normal setup. Usually these are automatic. This came from Miles Garrett, B. Miles Garrett says, after watching today's game, you better pray this line can block for Lamar. Yes, thank you, Miles. I appreciate it.
I did see a couple of just straight up scary pass rushers today. One of them was Miles Garrett. I don't know if you saw that hit he had on Joe Burrow, but oh my god,
I saw it. I saw the hit.
And then I didn't see what I saw. Micah Parsons chasing down the quarterback. It looked it looked like a National Geographic thing. Like he was weaving back and forth behind him, catching up to him. Like it was. You just wanted to scream through the screen, but just get down. You don't take them hits.
But TJ Watt blew up Justin Fields.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, he blew him up. We ain't got none of those guys on this team, and we ain't got nobody that can block those guys.
Mike Green.
Yeah, Mike Green. I think Mike Green's gonna be really good. Don't get me wrong.
Let's see.
Mike Green's gonna be really good. My criticism isn't of the individual players. It's not. I think we got a lot of talent on this team. My criticism is how this team is built, what they prioritize, and the coaching.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing about Mike Green. He ain't gonna be, Nick Scorton. We got a $5 super chat from A.O. Fonz. There's multiple OCs, multiple DCs, multiple GMs, and 2 different quarterbacks, and the same head coach still losing the same way. # retire Harbaugh and friends. Thank you very much. And spot on.
And that's what's coming
all the time. We made that point all the time when people finally started hating Greg Roman, and they got rid of him and they replaced him and everything. We're like, hey, it's happening no matter who the coaches are.
Yeah,
under Harbaugh, they're playing the exact same way. The game is being called the exact same way. And they're losing the exact same way. His coaches don't have any power under him.
Yeah, and
he doesn't know what he's doing.
What's up, Darren? He says, see you guys next year. Yeah, man. Like it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. If they just lost a a competitive game. It was, if they lost 27-25 again or 27-26, something like that. Okay, fine. On the road, first game, we're not quite firing on all cylinders yet. It's fine. But that's not how this game went. The offense was on point.
Mm-hmm.
They played damn near perfect. The defense from the opening kickoff, literally, like the first, they return a kick for special teams looked bad, and the defense just looked terrible out the gate, and they looked sharp all throughout preseason, right? They were just terrible all game long, and at no point did they step up. At no point did they wake up and say, okay, we gotta make a stop. And that's why we supposedly were getting these type of players. That's why we had to go and get Malachi Starks. That's why we had to get Mike Green, because we needed guys that can go out here and help this defense make plays, make key turnovers. And they did the exact opposite of that. They gave up all the big plays, right? So of course, you guys are frustrated now. Of course, it's like, oh man, here we go again, because we've seen this already. And when you get that type of frustration, that's when you know it's time for the coach to leave. Like, you guys don't owe Harbaugh anything. He has done nothing for you. Okay. I would argue the majority of you fans in here weren't even watching football the last time we won a Super Bowl. Right. I think the average age of our viewers are somewhere in like the 30s. Right. I got to look at the demographic, but I would venture to guess that most of you were either just starting to watch football or weren't quite watching football yet the last time we won a Super Bowl.
For those of you asking in the chat, disrespectful, first of all. Second of all, Mark Andrews' stat line was 1 target, 1 catch, 100% right there, 100% catch rate for 5 yards.
I forgot about him, to be honest.
For 5 yards. Not inspiring.
Yeah.
But it was more than Justice Hill. Only because Justice Hill decided to dribble his last catch before he started running. I don't know what that was about. Justice Hill looks like he's going back to the 2023 and prior version of himself. I hope that was just a one night thing. But Justice did not have a great game tonight.
Doesn't matter. He didn't need to have a great game.
I'm just saying, he played great last year. It'll be a shame to see him kind of regress. And he caught the pass towards the end. And it was low down. He had to kind of squat down and catch, but he caught it, and then he bounced it and caught it again. And it's like, now I'm ready to run. And I don't understand what the thought process was behind that. But again, this is why Keaton Mitchell shouldn't be a healthy scratch. So you have some other options, because he wasn't having a good game the entire night. And then maybe you say, you know what? Have a seat tonight, Justice. It's not your night. We'll put Keaton in, who had a very strong preseason, who was a difference maker as a rookie when he was healthy. I don't understand the refusal to use him.
This has to be it, man. It is, at the end of the day, it is one game. You got a whole season ahead of us. I expect the Ravens to win a lot of games this year still, right? Every team goes through this. Every team is going to choke some games away. Every team is going to lose games that you expect.
No, sir.
Every team
Carolina is not going to choke away any games.
Well,
they're just going to get beat.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, I mean, you lose close games sometimes. Sometimes you lose games that you don't expect to lose. But it's about the playoffs. And what we saw today is what we're used to seeing in the playoffs. That's why people are so frustrated about how we lost. You lose again this way in the playoffs. That's it. You guys have to be on this train with us and campaigning to get Harbaugh fired or retired, man. Right? Like, how many more years do you want to go through this with him? He's not going to get it done.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, but You know, I mean, I picked them. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, but I don't know, man.
I will say this. I picked them to win the Super Bowl as well. And the team that I picked them to beat in the Super Bowl did not look great today. And the person who I
What'd you
picked to
pick?
win MVP did not have a great game. I picked the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. They
Uh,
got they got pretty thoroughly beat down by the Green Bay Packers today. If you look at his stat line, Jared Goff didn't have a terrible day. You know, he didn't throw any touchdown. Well, he did throw a touchdown late to Isaac Tesla,
yeah,
which was
that's a
an
good catch.
unbelievable catch. But you know, it was one of those things where, yeah, he didn't have a terrible stat line or anything like that, but it just shows you the difference between a guy who is, you know, a competent quarterback with a lot of help around him and truly elite players like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Burrow, Mahomes, and them. Because with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Jameson Williams, with Sam Laporta, with Isaac Tesla, with Jahmyr Gibbs, with David Montgomery, with one of the better O-lines in the league, he saw a good defense and just could not get anything going. Nothing at all. Whereas the truly elite at that position can move the ball, can put up points, even, you know, against the toughest teams, right? Which is why you can't just kind of look at box scores and see, you know, who the top quarterbacks are. I'm so thankful that we're done with the Kirk Cousins era of that. But just avoid it with Jared Goff as well.
Jay wants to know why you put so much emphasis on Tesla.
He has 2 A's at the end.
He's got 2 A's.
It's like, what, I have to pronounce them. It would be disrespectful not to, Jay.
Yeah.
Like, what if I just called you Ja?
What's up, Antonio? Antonio is absolutely right, man. He says it's not that we lost; it's how we lost is the issue. That's yes.
Mm-hmm.
Losing to good teams, you know, you lost to a good team. It's whatever. You can run it back again. You might see them again down the line. It's how you lost the game. You had the game in hand. It looked like their will was broken. The fans were leaving. They didn't want any parts of Derrick Henry, and we throw these play calls in where it's just like, well, why did you run that play? That just kind of slowed the game down, you know, it slowed our tempo down, you know, or why can't the defense get a stop here? Like, you know, they're not going to be run heavy now. They're down 16 points and they gotta score. Why can't you call why can't you call a defense to, you know, force the ball out of Josh Allen's hands faster? Why can't your guys, you know, fly to the ball faster? Like, this is the type of defense we were supposed to have, and we didn't see it.
You know what I'd like to see too, honestly, and this may not have made any difference in the outcome of the game, but I'd like to see Rocon hit somebody in a way that I remember after the game. I can't. I don't know when the last time that happened. You know.
Yeah.
I know he's roaming around the middle. I know he's got a much higher number in his bank account. I'm not seeing the impact plays that you would expect of someone who has that salary. Like, I see Kyle Hamilton doing it, right? Like, I see him all over the place making plays. You know, even if they're not, again, game-changing plays, I see him doing his job, right? I see him being all over the field making things happen. I don't see Rocon doing anything. And so I don't count the pregame speeches.
The way they play defense, I don't think it really made a difference whether or not Derrick Henry held onto that ball or not, because we weren't going to get the first down there. We weren't trying to play for a first down. We were going to end up punting, and okay, we'd have punted the ball, and they would march right back down the field and scored it anyway. It might have taken them 3 more plays to do it.
Well, and that's the funny thing, because it's not like it came down to the last second. Like, if you remember, they kneeled and then they waited 20, 25 seconds before they hiked the ball for the field goal, because they just, they're like, we got here early, you know? Yeah. So, yeah.
Darren. Oh, not only was he in the game.
Oh, man, Jair. Listen, I give him
so many big plays.
I give him a lot of credit for not giving up that touchdown at the end, though, because, like, he was on the ground and I was like, that's it. And then all of a sudden, Keon Coleman just fell.
Yeah.
Good job, Jair. But you know, he had a rough game. Yeah. He had a rough game.
They all look bad.
Yeah,
they all look bad.
Pretty much.
Where are the Ravens defenders like Ray, where he basically said he wants to kill Eddie George every time he saw him. Someone lay out Josh Allen. First of all, it's a different era, and that's me and B's point is you can't play football like that anymore. And look, man, Ray Lewis, you guys know how I feel about Ray Lewis out the field. I don't like him, but on the field, man, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Those players,
second greatest, in fact.
Okay, he's the greatest. And listen, those guys are rare. Those are rare players, you know. And to think that you can just try to manufacture that, which is what they're trying to do, I think is a joke, you know. And if you still insist on being defensive minded, man, you damn sure cannot be playing around with a new defensive coordinator that's still trying to figure it out.
Well, the other thing, first off, it's disrespectful because I'm pretty sure if you check Luke Kuechly, he had like 10 tackles today, and he's been retired for years. But if you're going to be defensive minded, if you're going to be a defensive first team, stop paying middle linebackers, stop paying safeties, and go make the trade for Micah Parsons happen.
Yes.
The way that you are defense first in 2025 is by pressuring the quarterback. And not just with Micah Parsons, but by having multiple guys who can get after the quarterback. That's how you disrupt offenses. That's how you force turnovers, not with Rocon Smith and Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton. That's not what's going to get it done because ain't nobody out here trying to beat you by handing the ball to their running back 35 times anymore. You need to go get guys who can get after the opposing quarterback, and whether they can get the sack, but they definitely need to hit them. They definitely need to pressure them. They definitely need to make them uncomfortable and force them into bad decisions. That's how you play defense first. That's how you disrupt drives. That's how you keep teams from scoring. That's how you force turnovers. Rocon Smith ain't doing none of that.
Yeah. Love West says it's hard to cover when the QB has all day to go through his reads. Yes, to play bad, but the D-line, come on, he threw the ball 46 times and he get him on the ground one time. Listen, I don't, Wes. There are zero excuses for this defense. Zero.
First round pick Marlon Humphrey, former All-Pro. First round pick Jair Alexander, former All-Pro. First round pick Nate Wiggins. First round pick and former All-Pro Kyle Hamilton. First round pick Malachi Starks. Longtime veteran Chidobe Awuzie. I don't want to hear a single thing about how difficult it is for them to cover anybody, especially when those people are Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir. They should be able to cover them for 45 seconds if need be. Don't care.
Also, first round pick Owe, Odafe Owe. Second round pick Mike Green. Right, you got a former All-Pro in Matabike. We have projected for first team All-Pro Travis Jones. Like, they don't have scrubs on that D-line either. Yeah. There are no weaknesses on this team on paper. That's the whole reason why we said this defense has to be at the very least a top 3 defense. No worse than 3. There are no weaknesses. So if they're not getting pressure, that's bad too. That's a problem too. What are you reading, babe?
Lobo says, I know I'm not making excuses. We have all of the money on defense, no excuse. Yeah, like, listen, they should be able to cover as long as, like I said, it's not Jamar Chase out there. I mean, and the reality is Josh Allen was so comfortable with y'all's coverage that he was just throwing it up to Keon Coleman. Coleman wasn't even open. He was just throwing it up to him.
Yes.
And he was
that one touch,
he don't come down with it. He did that on two of the 2-point conversions too. I mean, they didn't convert, but he's just like, F it, Keon over there. 120-pound Nate Wiggins ain't gonna stop him. I mean, he did, but like, he's not gonna stop him. He didn't stop him, during their drives though. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It was a very, very, very disappointing effort from that Ravens defense.
We got Zach's brother, Marcus Orr, in here. I'm messing with you. But Marcus says, Brodny went from being 100% correct on the pass rush point to sounding lost. These are NFL wide receivers. 45 seconds of coverage is impossible. Come on,
dude. You don't know what hyperbole is? What NFL play lasts 45 seconds, bro? Like, my point is that they should be able to cover Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir. You heard of coverage sacks? They shouldn't be getting lost against these guys and having Josh Allen throw for 400 yards on them, is my point. These are all pro corners and safeties. They should be able to handle these. And I'm saying, not saying these receivers suck, but again, it's not Jamar Chase out there. It's not Justin Jefferson out there. You need to be able to lock these guys up. Period. Otherwise, why are you investing in them like this? Why is Kyle Hamilton the highest paid safety ever? Why did you draft Nate Wiggins in the first round? Why is Marlon Humphrey still here if you can't expect them to lock down Keon Coleman?
That's always been my argument. That's always been our argument about when they make these picks in the draft, when they make these signings. Why are you doing it if you don't expect them to do anything? They gave up 41 points tonight, and some of you are making excuses. Not saying you're making an excuse, but like some of you are making excuses like, oh, it was the extra point that was missed. Oh, it was the fumble. No. No. It was the 41 points the defense gave up. They had to make a stop at some point. You know? People don't even consider McDermott a great coach, and Harbaugh makes him look like a genius. Man, I'm telling you, Darren. That's a fact. That's a fact. Aofan says, remember my Lakers had that year with Kobe, Malone, Peyton, and all those stars, and won nothing. That's when they lost to Detroit. I remember that. Yeah. Get hungry players and coaches. Titles aren't glorified anymore to players. Money is. Yeah.
Marcus says, no, I get hyperbole smart. I didn't sound like it, but that's all right. They're not covering for 6 to 10 seconds. They're not locking those guys up. Again, why aren't they locking them up? Why is your defense, why is your team spending this kind of money and spending these draft picks on these players if you don't expect them to be able to cover Khalil Shakir? What is the point? You tell me what the point is.
Yeah.
Tell me why those guys are there. Why is your team built this way? Why do you have 3 first-round corners, 2 first-round safeties if you can't expect them to stop Josh Allen throwing to Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir? What is the point? I understand that the rush needs to be symbiotic, but again, listen, don't act like you don't have a pass rush. You have 2 guys who had double-digit sacks last year and Matabike, who had, 13 a couple of years ago. You have guys who can rush the passer, but you have to cover guys too, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, if I had a team who spent all these resources in the secondary, I would not expect a quarterback to come out and throw for 400 yards almost, regardless of who his receivers are. But I guess the expectations are different in Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's week 1. You're going to overreact. The defense from here on out, they could have an awakening and say, hey, you know what, never again, and they could lock people down. That's possible, right? How do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like this was a one-time thing, and moving forward they're going to be fine, or do you feel like no, the defense is just going to be, they're going to be middle of the pack like they were last year, right? Because I went from thinking they're going to be a top 3 defense to looking what I saw tonight and saying they're probably going to be middle of the pack again. Like I didn't see outside of Kyle Hamilton, I didn't see any real aggression from them. I didn't see players really flying to the ball like that. The D-line getting pushed around. I just didn't see it from this defense, man. I watched a lot of football today. This defense don't look like these other. It didn't look like the Denver's defense. It didn't look like the Rams defense. Like I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it from them. Yeah, I don't want to say soft, but they look kind of soft, man. Yeah. How are they going to change that? I don't know.
They're probably not. Well, what's going to happen is they're going to play a bunch of teams who are not as good as Buffalo, and certainly not as good as Baltimore. And they're going to win a lot of games, and fans are going to forget. and then they get to the playoffs, and something like this is going to happen again. Not exactly this way, because I mean, you can't lose like this again ever. But you're going to get to the playoffs and lose to a team that you shouldn't lose to in a way that you should not lose.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this up here. Man, it is after 1:00 in the morning, and there's still over 100 people in this chat. Man, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Get some sleep.
No. We're not done yet, because I had to point out that although your team lost in embarrassing fashion and my team decided to reschedule their first game, Teteroa McMillan is for real. Okay, Teteroa McMillan.
I saw that drop pass.
You mean the amazing one-handed catch he had?
That he dropped?
He didn't drop that. No, he didn't drop it. It didn't count because of a penalty. But
no, he dropped it. The touchdown?
No. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
there was a play. I don't know what you're talking about. No. That was a play that should have been a penalty. The guy grabbed his arm and pulled him down. But I'm talking about along the sidelines.
D-Hop.
Huh?
Didn't stop D-Hop.
It didn't happen to D-Hop.
It did happen to D-Hop.
No, it didn't. I'm talking about the guy grabbed the arm with which he caught the ball, not his other arm, not the trailing arm. The guy grabbed the arm that he caught the ball with and yanked it down so he couldn't secure the ball. But he had a play down the sideline where I don't know what the defender looked like. He was guarding a basketball player or something. I don't know. But he had his hands on him, was like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he tossed him to the side and dove and caught it with one hand. But they called pass interference, rightly so. So, they didn't count it as a catch. But dude looks like he can play, right?
Oh, yeah, he can play.
Bryce had a bad game.
Yes.
Bryce made some terrible decisions. He missed some throws. Obviously, he fumbled on that scramble to really drive the point home that they weren't winning the day. But I'm not worried about Bryce. Bryce, he's a very accurate passer. And if they protect him and the other guys step up, he'll be fine.
And listen,
the rest of that team.
JC Horn had an amazing interception.
I mean, congrats! Like, you stopped somebody else. Like, it ain't one play. It ain't a one play game.
Dave Canals got to get blamed for that too, man. I didn't like what I saw in preseason. I don't think the first team got enough reps, and it showed. Right, like. They definitely had the opportunities to be in that game. They got down there a few times and they couldn't punch it in. They went for it on fourth down, didn't get it one time. The turnovers, that one that the Teteroa for it should have been a touchdown. That fizzled out. This is they looked. They needed more work in the offseason.
Yeah, I said in the Discord that Dave Canales saw that offense play like garbage in the preseason and said, "All right, good to go." Like they needed to be out there more. Now, granted, I mean, they didn't have their starting left tackle. Whatever. I mean, he's not very good anyway. Like, I don't know.
What's up, Keelan?
What kind of a difference he would have made? Keelan says, "Put all the money, big signings, and draft picks into the defense, but they still." Demand the offense to score 35 plus and carry the team. Still no bona fide pass rushers, and linebackers stink still. Fire everyone. Listen, man, y'all gotta pick a lane, because just a couple weeks ago, Mike Green was he was the pass rush god. What is it? Is he for real or is he not? Once again, I'll help you out with the answer. He's not Nick Scorton, but I don't think that we can say you don't have any bona fide pass rushers when you have two guys who had double-digit sacks last year. Not saying that they're great pass rushers, but I mean, you have a good enough pass rush.
Yeah.
The Ravens defense did not come to play. Because if we want to say they don't have any bona fide pass rushers, then you don't have any bona fide cover corners either. They didn't cover anybody tonight. You don't have any playmakers on defense. Y'all didn't make any plays on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be very critical of the defense this year. Very critical, because this is where all the money is spent. This is where all the draft picks are spent, and you have guys that can play. So if they're not doing their job, I gotta look at the coach. And coaches. I mean, that coaching staff is not doing a good job with them, right? For whatever reason, they went from a top defense with Mike Macdonald to, bottom half defense with Zach Orr. And, we gave him a grace period last year. And this year, there is no room for error. I don't care if it's week 1. It's against a good team. You can't drop games like that.
And listen, that could have been such a turning point for the Ravens franchise. When Mike Macdonald, because he struggled his first year. He had a rough go his first year as the defense coordinator. And then the second year, obviously he figured it out, and they were the top defense, or one of the top defenses in the league. And it became obvious towards the end of the season that he was going to be tapped for a head coaching job. Like, people wanted him. You could have told John Harbaugh to step aside and promoted Mike Macdonald and kept it rolling. And I think that had they done that, they would have won a Super Bowl last year. I think he would have kept the defense going. I think that, I don't know, I want to say that he would have fired Todd Monken, but Todd Monken wouldn't be handcuffed to whatever John Harbaugh wants him to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think that they would have gotten it done. And I think that you would be a perennial Super Bowl contender under another head coach, a guy who knows how to run one side of the ball, right? But instead, they let him go. John Harbaugh stays. You lose a lot of the senior coaching staff on defense. You promote the least experienced guy you have, and you've been struggling. So it's like we've been saying for years. It starts at the top with poor decision making, and they need a philosophical change in Baltimore.
Yeah. What's up, Hendo? Y'all go subscribe to the Row Pod. Check out his latest videos. He's got a few out. Dope Ravens content over there. He just live streamed tonight with Ravens Talk with Yolanda. Go check him out. I'm sure a lot of Ravens content creators are putting stuff out there. So check all of them out. Subscribe to everybody. Get different opinions from ours. Explain how Harbaugh handcuffs Monk.
I'll tell you what. You explained to me how the offense looks exactly the same in late game situations under Greg Roman, under Todd Monken, under who was that other one? The one before Greg
Morning
Roman.
Wig.
Explain to me why no matter who the coach is, they look exactly the same.
Under Trestman,
they lose exactly the same. This has been a forever thing with John Harbaugh. They get conservative and they let leads slip away. I forget who it was who tweeted this earlier, but they said that John Harbaugh, Kurt Benkert, tweeted that John Harbaugh's lost more double-digit leads in the fourth quarter than any coach from the 90s on. And it's just it's how he runs the team.
It's time to go. If you still think Harbaugh is the man to win to get to the Super Bowl, that's about something else. That ain't about football. Okay, I'm sorry. He can't keep losing these games the way he's been losing for over a decade. And you still feel like he's your coach.
Yeah.
All right. Look, maybe it's overreaction. It's week 1. We said week 1 you're gonna have your overreactions.
What's up, Adrian?
But this is our just instant reaction to a terrible loss in week 1. Gotta move on to next week. Is that next week the Browns? I think it's the Browns next week.
Browns played tough this week.
They did.
And I was gonna say against a team that doesn't have a defense, but
they got offense. Jamar Chase did nothing in that game.
But Baltimore ain't got one either.
Listen, they have a much better offense than the Bills, and they only scored 17 points.
Mm-hmm.
So let's think about that. All right, let's get out of here, man. Still 100 people in here, man. Look, y'all, you really want to get it off your chest. Man. Look, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back here on Wednesday for the LBHT show. Okay. We're gonna move on to the next week. We're gonna break down. We might talk a little bit about this game, and then we'll go on to next week and break down our matchups for the Ravens game and the Panthers game, and any other cool stories going on in the NFL and in sports. All right, it's a fun time. Subscribe, sign up for the Patreon if you want some extra stuff. All right, patreon.com/LBHTShow. It's only $5. All right, or the membership. You can even gift memberships. All right, we've been getting a lot of people gift the memberships, and people seem to be enjoying the content. If you want to continue this conversation tonight, go to our Discord. Again, patreon.com/LBHTShow is how you can do that. Only $5. All right, and they'll be talking all night. Our Discord has been going off since this video started. So, all right, yes, every Wednesday 7:45 ish. That's right, Danity. 7:40. You can say 7:45. We got a producer now. Delia's been keeping us keeping us professional, holding us accountable. So 7:45. You can have faith in that. Any word on the Ravens roundup? Oh, good question. The Ravens roundup will be back. Well, tomorrow. Now it's Monday. Tuesday at 6 p.m. I believe Coach said it for that time. So subscribe to Sip to Tally Films, and you'll see at least me over there. I don't. You might see. You might see the lineup's going to be a little bit different. The lineup's going to be a little bit different, but you'll see some old faces from time to time. But the new lineup is there's a few changes, but you got to tune in to see. But Tuesdays 6 p.m. All right. Okay, that's it. B, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, it's week 1. Week 1's in the books. Go Ravens, fire Harbaugh. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Peace.